Well, joining us live now is former IDF spokesperson and senior fellow at the Foundation for Defence of Democracies, Jonathan Conricus. He joins us again. Jonathan, thanks for your time this morning, evening your time. So let's start off with what your reaction is to the Australian government's declaration now.
Well, good morning to you. Thanks for having me on. If there ever will be a Palestinian state, then the silver platter on which it will be presented will be the Hamas atrocities on October 7, the murder of 1,300 Israelis, most of them civilians, and the taking hostage of 251 Israelis. That is what Hamas did on October 7. And you won't be able to convince, and neither will any naive Australian prime minister or politician, you won't be able to convince a single Arab in the region that the PA, the Palestinian Authority, is the representative of the Palestinian people. It will be Hamas. This step, as naive, as Western, as gullible, and as misunderstanding of Middle Eastern politics as it is, strengthens Hamas, weakens Israel, makes it virtually impossible for Israel to negotiate hostages out of captivity, and frankly is tremendously disappointing for a democracy to do against Israel. I wasn't surprised, but I was saddened to see France and the UK. I wasn't surprised by Canada. But I had better hopes for Australia. I thought that Australian leaders had better sense and understanding. And I'm saddened by it because it will make it more difficult for us to defeat Hamas. This is a tremendous blow to Israel and to people that want peace. And this strengthens Hamas and extremists. And anybody who says otherwise simply doesn't understand the lay of the land or the dynamics in this part of the world.
There's a few adjectives there you've mentioned, Jonathan. Is betrayal another one? Do you feel that? Others have said that.
Yes, sadly, I wouldn't expect a democracy. I wouldn't expect any democracy to go ahead and do this symbolic, significant move at the time that we are fighting Palestinians. We're fighting one political representative of the Palestinians, probably the strongest one, the terrorist organization Hamas. And to recognize a Palestinian state as they're fighting us is a prize to Hamas. And yes, definitely, I'm sure that many Israelis, myself included, would feel that it is a betrayal of Israel. It's a betrayal of a democratic ally. It's a betrayal of a country that is protecting itself against terrorists.
Let's just unpack some of what you said there in the first answer, just to I want to elaborate on. So you don't believe Hamas will give up?
No, neither did ISIS. ISIS was defeated militarily. And when they were uprooted from the terrain that they controlled, they ceased to be a very important terrorist organization. They still exist, and their ideology still exists. And Hamas is very similar. Hamas holds on to territory, and it keeps about 2 million Gazans hostage under their rule. They keep 50 Israeli hostage, and they are the ones who are refusing to end the war, hand over the hostages, and alleviate the suffering of Palestinians in Gaza. To think that Hamas would give up, especially now that they've been given these tremendous boosts of international diplomacy, is extremely naive. And if there are elections held in half a year or 2 years, rest assured that Hamas will be campaigning on this. They are the ones who deliver. The PA, Palestinian Authority, has not delivered because they are corrupt, incapable, and many other things. But the ones who delivered through murder, hostage-taking and raping and torching civilians on fire on October 7 will be Hamas. And that is what Australia today is doing to the Palestinians, militarizing the Palestinians and strengthening Hamas.
Well, the PA has also denied the Holocaust in the past as well. And then you've got Mahmoud Abbas, who's 89. There hasn't been an election since, 2006. But they claim that they haven't allowed to have one. Let's just say Hamas does give up or cede control, and it is the Palestinian Authority. Could you work with them?
We probably could. Israel doesn't want to, for some of the reasons that you so correctly pointed out, but mostly because Israel has proposed peace to the Palestinian Authority 4 times, to 2 different Palestinian leaders. 4 times Israel has been rejected, including, 98% of Judea and Samaria, or what other people call the West Bank, and a Palestinian capital in eastern Jerusalem. That was offered once by a full-hearted Israeli Prime Minister, Ehud Olmert. I don't think it will ever be proposed again by Israel. And for that reason and many others, the basic, understanding is that the Palestinian Authority has refused to recognize that they end the conflict. That is what Israel sought to achieve when Israel proposed peace through American negotiations. And 4 times, the Palestinian hand that was supposed to sign and say, I, on behalf of the Palestinian people, end the conflict and I have no further claims, refused to do that. And that is what Israel wants to do. And since that hasn't been achieved, I doubt that the Palestinian Authority is a future partner as well.
So do you think this declaration, not just by Australia, there are others, you pointed out, Canada, UK, France, there's more than 140 others who've done so as well. This pledge will be made at the UN next month, but is Israel going to change course? Does this actually change anything on the ground in Gaza? Will you reverse some of your decisions and just pull back?
I think that what it will do is a few things. On the ground now, it will make it much more difficult for Israel to negotiate a ceasefire with Hamas, because Hamas is strengthened, they will be hardballing, and we won't be able to meet their demands. So the chances of getting hostages back is significantly less. Second, what I think it will push Israel to do is to say, okay, fine, if that is the way we roll, then we will go ahead and we will launch that significant offensive against Hamas in Gaza. We will take Gaza City and we will fight out the war until Hamas surrenders up with white flags, whether Australia, the UK and Canada and others like and approve of it or not. To be blunt, I think the most important country and the only ally that Israel has is the United States of America. And I understand that both Secretary Rubio and most importantly, President Trump sees this very similarly to how Israel sees it, that by recognizing a Palestinian state while we are fighting Hamas, it is aiding and abetting an enemy of democracy. And those are the words, almost the words of Secretary Rubio. So I think what this will most likely do is to push Israel to be more militant, less flexible, less welcoming of Hamas demands, whether or not naive countries around the world think that Hamas demands are justified, or if they want to meet them, or if they want to... Yeah.
Jonathan, I have to wrap up here, but is Israel paying the price for overreach in Gaza by withdrawing aid in March, which led to scenes of suffering that people in Australia and other nations just couldn't tolerate anymore?
I think we're paying the price for 2 things. One, and the first fingers are pointed inwards, is for not managing our information and public affairs and diplomacy well enough. And that is something that sadly has been clear and evident for months and years, and I wish we would have acted differently. And 2, we're paying the price of an international community that has this fixation on Palestinian statehood, and countries are refusing to look reality in the eye and to recognize that what we've been trying to do, what they have been trying to do, and what the world has been trying to force Israel to do, which is to create a state next to it that would be a mortal threat to it, is a fool's errand. And I think we're suffering from these 2 issues. One of them is our own doing. The second has very deep and historic roots, which I fear we don't have time to go into. I regret them both, but at the end of the day, I don't think that is going to happen. You can have 192 countries declare that they recognize a Palestinian state. It won't turn it into being because it is something that doesn't have real connection to reality. Half of the Palestinian people are governed by a terrorist organization. And I would like for the Prime Minister, the Australian Prime Minister, to please explain to me how he thinks that Hamas will relinquish control. Who will make him? Will he or will Foreign Secretary Wong make Hamas give up all of their achievements on the battlefield? Will they make their political gains go away, and will they persuade Palestinians that the way ahead, the way for the future, is not the way of jihad? I don't think so.
We'll have to leave it there. Jonathan, thanks for your time this evening, your time. Appreciate it.